everyone, my name's Leslie. This is my third Flosstube video. I'm still kind of new to this, so please excuse any so's, uhs. My last video was back in October, I think, maybe late September. I'm the owner and artist and slave to Under the Sea Fabrics, and my business has grown so much in the last 6 months, a lot of it due to all of you who watch Flosstube, so I just haven't had time to sit down and compile my thoughts enough to talk to all of you for a little while. But I have a lot to say now. I kind of feel bad. I feel like this might ramble a little, so if it does, I'm so sorry. First, I want to say that I really appreciate all of you who have gone out of your way to mention me, talk about my fabrics, and who support my business. Thanks to you guys, you know, I'm able to flourish. I'm able to be a stay-at-home mom. First, because it's Wednesday, I do want to talk about my whips. I have 4 active ones. I used to be a one-at-a-time stitcher, and when I get really going on a project, I do. I have what most people would call a scream rotation, so I work on whatever screams at me the loudest. Lately, that has been my Beneath the Sunlit Skies. It's an out-of-print loose feathers chart from Blackbird Designs. I was given it as the chart was given to me as a gift from my secret stitcher. I absolutely love this. I had to change the colors. You can see if you've seen the original chart, my colors are a lot brighter. And I added a little mermaid down at the bottom because I love mermaids so much. It's stitched on Buttercup Opal Belfast from Under the Sea Fabrics, of course. That was my fabric of the month for May. I'm going through a Princess Bride phase, so I did Florin in February and Buttercup in March. April is As You Wish, which is based on Wesley. Next month I'll be a Ningo, so that's going to be grays and I think like a deep red, like grays because that kind of represents his personality. My next one I have going is Get Crackin' in Circles. I'm so close to finishing this. You can see, all I have left is this little bit right here. That is on Opalescent Newcastle Looking Glass from Under the Sea Fabrics. I kind of feel like with the first 3 that I'm showing you here, those 2 in my next one, if I were really to designate a solid weekend to finishing it, I would have these pieces done. But I never have a full weekend to stitch, so you know, it'll probably be, my goal is to have these 3 done by the end of the summer. This other one is my Octopus Treasure Cave. It's by Chatelaine. I'm stitching it on Hamlet Opal Cashel from Under the Sea Fabrics. I'm going to close in a little bit because the coral down at the bottom is so cool. There are some really great close-ups of the coral on my Instagram. It's at Under the Sea Fabrics. So, I encourage you to look at those on Instagram because the colors are so cool and they're so bright. My last one's Mirabilia. As you can tell by my wall behind me, I love stitching Mirabilia mermaids. Well, all mermaids, really. I just like mermaids. So this is another Mirabilia mermaid. This one is Waiting for Ships. It's stitched on Sea Witch from Under the Sea Fabrics. I think this is an Opal Belfast. Might be an Opal Cashel, not entirely sure. I like to beat as I go, as you can probably tell. This little bit at the top I'll be pulling out because I'm changing a couple of these colors, so I'm going to yank all that out and just keep going. I haven't progressed much farther on this since I started it back in before Christmas, right? I think this was my Christmas Day, all-day project. I haven't gone very far because I couldn't decide on one of the colors because I change the colors as I go. And now I think I've found what I want to do and I'm staying on track, so I will probably get back to this after I finish either Beneath the Sunlit Sky or Get Crackin'. As those of you who follow Stash Queen Coffee Stitcher. You know, Stitch Mania is coming up. That's where they theoretically start a new project every day of May. I don't work like that. 4 whips is a lot for me, and that doesn't even count the number of UFOs I have in my pile. So I've been thinking about how I want to participate without actually starting one new one every day. And I think I am going to start one new one once a week, and then I will stitch on it for that week and then put it away, and then at the end of May I'll get back to these. So the first one I want to stitch is, I've got pictures of a couple, not of others. The first one I want to stitch is, I'm going to start, is of course another mermaid. It is Aphrodite Mermaid. Love her. Love her. I think I'm going to leave off the shell. I'm not 100% sure on that. So my plan is to stitch her and then decide at the end, because why not? And then this pretty green color right here, I'm going to get rid of that too. I'm leaning towards changing it to fuchsia. I want her to look, because her tails, my friend Julie said it was very beta fish-esque, and I think that's right. So I think I like the idea of kind of making it a little more beta fish-like and put some fuchsias in there. So I think she's going to be fuchsia. But I haven't decided yet. I'm not starting her till the first week of May. So the second one I'm going to start is Sea Hag by Plum Street Samplers. I don't have the chart right next to me right now, so sorry. It will be stitched on Winterbrook, a greenish piece of Winterbrook, which was my December fabric of the month. For those who got it, you will know, or have ordered it since, will know that each piece of that one really dyes really differently. So one piece can have a very green tint, and another piece will be very gray, and another one will be very blue, because I used those 3 colors in the dyeing. And depending on the light it's in, will also, you know, factor in for what color that particular piece of fabric is. It's really neat. It's really like looking at the ocean on like a cloudy day, where the water can look green in areas and gray in areas and blue in areas, and I just love how that came out. So I'm going to stitch that on a piece of Opal Winterbrook Newcastle. For stuff that doesn't have beads, I love the tiny counts. I will stitch on 40 or 36. If I could figure out a way to get beads to fit nicely on 36 or 40, I would do that too. Just because I like stitching with one strand, and I like stitching itty bitty things. My third piece, the third week of May, I think I'm going to start Summer Snapperland by Big Creek. I have been looking and looking for that chart, and I finally got them this week. So I think I'm going to stitch that on As You Wish, which is my April fabric of the month. And then my fourth one is going to be Nora Corbett's Peony Fairy. I don't like fairies. Don't like wings. Something about wings kind of freaks me out a little. So my friend Karen has done a few alterations on the chart so that her dress will be filled in and she'll have a cute little bodice and her wings won't be on there anymore. So I'm leaning towards that being my end of May start. I just can't do one every day for 2 weeks. I did that a couple of years ago and it didn't go well. I finished maybe 7 or 8 of them out of the 15 I started, and the other 7 or 8 are still in a drawer. So I won't be doing those. Please excuse me. Yes, I'm drinking beer. Craft beer snob. For those who want to know, this is Woodland Empire. Woodland Empire Empowered IPA. I believe they're at they are made in Boise, Idaho. Okay, so you will probably see me sitting here drinking beer in most of my videos because that's just my preference most of the time. Sorry if it bothers anyone, but beer snob, it's what we do. So I'm going to do a little bit of stash, and then I have a lot of stuff to talk about as far as the Mirabilia retreat goes. That was last week. We held it here in Cincinnati, and as the organizer, I had a lot to do, but I have a lot of stuff to show you as a result. First, as far as stash goes, I got Aphrodite Mermaid. She came in the mail today. This is my store's advanced copy. I only order one advanced copy, and then the rest I order, you know, after it's been released. So this was my advanced copy. Part of the reason I only order one is because my mailman always bends these to put them into my mailbox. So those are the ones I keep for myself. Nobody wants a bent chart. Not me, but there you go. Another thing I ordered, I've never been much into Blackbird designs, but my friend Julie started stitching a lot of them. And so is my friend Andrea, and my friend Andrea was stitching this one, so when I saw it come up on Stash and Load, I ordered it. It is Bluebird's Message. It's out of print. Andrea only stitched the bluebird and the flowers right here. And I'm thinking that might be what I do. I will be giving this away as a gift for my mom. My mom would love this. So I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to stitch until I start it. I got Just Nan's little hedgy confession. I have almost all of her little animals. I think I'm only missing 2 maybe. And I haven't stitched a single one. Not one. Not a single one. And part of that is I'm terrified of the finishing. But I will get around to stitching them. I keep thinking maybe if I just do one a month, then I will have a bunch done and I can sit down and figure out the finishing all in one go. I just haven't bothered. I got Primitive Hair Sea Witch. A lot of this stuff came back from the Nashville market. Some of this stuff came back from the Nashville market from my stitch shop. So when she did the Nashville, you know, debut at the beginning of March, I bought some of this stuff. This is the Sea Witch from the Primitive Hair. I really like her. I'm leaning towards leaving off the Sea Witch and just altering and getting rid of the hat, so it just looks like a mermaid with a triton and her little buddy here. And I won't be using the called for colors. I like that it's primitive, but it's stitched in General Arts, which not my favorite, General Arts and DMC, so I will probably go through my stash and pull something I want to use instead for that. And then the last thing I've gotten in the last few weeks is Summer Snappers. I have the first one. It's in my stash somewhere. I have to drag it out so I can stitch it. But I've been searching for the other 3. Apparently Bent Creek never goes out of print. You can always get them, but for some reason I was unable to get hold of all these. So someone put them up on eBay and I just went ahead and bought all 3. And that was an odd situation because I bought them and then she said, oh, I'll combine shipping. And then I got the shipping notice and then they never came and they never came and they never came. And so I kind of gave up and I went and checked on it again. And the seller had issued a full refund for the 3 charts, which I thought was odd, and just kind of said, oh, all right, I guess I'll have to find another way to get them. And then they showed up in the mail yesterday, so now I have all of them, and I printed off the border. These also call for weeks in General Arts. I'm not the biggest fan of General Arts, but I hate Weeks Dye Works with a passion. So I am going to go through and see which ones of which they use and what I can sub for other stuff and what I have in my stash so that I can avoid using Weeks for this. The last thing I want to talk about is the Mirabilia retreat. I would like to say I had a blast because I did. I had so much fun. It is so fun to get together with a bunch of like-minded people and talk about what you're working on, look at each other's things, look at all the whips. We had 166 on display. Not whips, 166 finished Mirabilias. I posted the pictures I took on my blog, which I will link to at the bottom of this, as well as some notes about the rest of the stuff that I have right here, and close-up pictures of my whips and my finishes. But also, I do spend the whole weekend running around like a loon, and I tend to be exhausted. I came home and slept for 5 days, 13, 14 hours a day. It's so great to see all those people. A lot of them I only get to see that one time a year. We will keep doing it in Cincinnati as long as I live in Dayton. There is a Facebook group if you'd like to sign up if you have any questions. I highly recommend you look up Mon.Stitches. She had a lot more to say about the retreat, and she took a lot more pictures than I did because I was running around like a lunatic. So I didn't take as many pictures as I could have, but she took a lot, and she's got some great pictures of everybody's finishes that were hanging up. There were some very cool ones by Leah. That was her Maleficent Raven Queen, and her red that has a parasol instead of a full cape. That was really pretty. So many color conversions. There were a lot of color conversions. There were a lot of fabric choices. I don't want to say I'm kind of lame. Excuse me. But I am kind of lame when it comes to fabric. Even though I love dyeing big bright colors, I like stitching on kind of plain. Kind of not too crazily modeled. Like, this is as crazy as I've ever gotten. So, to me, it was, it's so neat looking at all these other fabrics and all this other stuff. But because I have been the one organizing the retreat, some of my friends got together, and I am still kind of angry at them for it. I joked and said they wouldn't be allowed to come next year. But they stitched this absolutely gorgeous mermaid quilt for me. It's quilted wall hanging. I'm trying to make sure you can see all the blocks because there are 16, I think, different blocks, and they are fantastic, and each one's a mermaid. Some of them are stitched over one, some of them are stitched over two. I am just in shock at how much work and time they put into all of this. It is probably the best gift I've ever gotten. I love stitched gifts, and this is super special to me. I can't wait to get it hung up. I already bought a hanger, so I was just waiting until after I made this video to hang it. And that's going to hang in my bedroom above my desk so that I can see it all the time. Still mad at them. Anyway, if you would like to see close-ups of this and the group of stitchers who stitched on it, again, that's on my blog. My blog post is full of pictures about the retreat. And the last thing, not that everything at the retreat wasn't great, but we were really lucky. This is not the last thing. I have another thing to say. We did mystery boxes. The way we organize mystery boxes is that I create this list of items, and they're very general. So, something froggy, something shiny, a stitching embellishment, stitching accessory, just a lot of stuff like that. So it's all really general and open to interpretation. And you gather by one of each of those items and wrap it and number it on your list. So then we exchanged the boxes. This year I kind of drew numbers and everybody went and grabbed a box. So we drew numbers and we do it like that, and then you grab a box. And most of the stuff in my box, not most of, all of the stuff in my box was wonderful. I got a really great coloring book and some colors, and I think a needle minder, and I got a new stylus pen, which I needed for my tablet. Just So many things like that that are just wonderful. But the person who stitched my box was the same person whose box I had last year. And it just worked out that way because I was organizing everything. When my number was called, I just turned around and grabbed the box next to me. I didn't look at any of them, and I just happened to get hers the second year in a row. And last year it was full of cool stitched gifts, and this year had 2 or 3, which I want to show you. First thing, for my Something Froggy, she stitched this little girl, I guess. We called her my sister from a Froggy Mister at the retreat. And it's hard to tell, but she is stitched over 1 on what looks like 28 count. So she is tiny, but she's very detailed, and I love her. And the second thing was we had to bring something soft, and she stitched me this cute little pillow. It looks just like my dog Sadie. If it had some white on its muzzle, it would look just like Sadie. So I absolutely love this. Again, it looks like it's stitched over 1 on 28 count Lugana. Last year, she had done a little frog biscorno as my Something Froggy, and it was this big, and it was stitched over 1 on 40. It was incredible. Anyway, thank you, Patty, for my mystery box. I loved everything in it, but of course I especially love the stitched stuff because that's my favorite. The last thing about the retreat that I have to talk about that was really, just one of the best things. Nora designed, during our first retreat 4 years ago, a little ornament that said the number 13, meant for 2013. That was the year we did it. And people on Facebook went crazy because it was an exclusive pattern for the retreat, and they were just super mean. And I tried to deflect most of the anger towards me. I got the vilest messages I have ever gotten in my life. To be honest, the porn and penis enlargement emails that I get were way less offensive than some of the stuff I got over this pattern. So Nora and I decided we weren't doing that again. No more retreat patterns. Until January, when we went out to a bar and had a couple of beers and thought, we might not be allowed to do an exclusive pattern, but maybe we could do something and get a freebie that would be released early. So Nora challenged me to get her since luau was our theme, Nora challenged me to get her one of those little hula dancers that dance on the hood of your car or on the dashboard of your car. And if I could do that, she would design us a hula dancer. So I think 2 weeks later, she had one in the mail. And a couple of weeks after that, she sent me the pattern for Leilani. So this is Leilani, the hula dancer. I love her. I stitched her so fast. I think I did her in 2 weeks, and I'm not a fast stitcher. You can see she's got beads and treasures and silks and everything, and I love her. She's stitched on As You Wish. That is our fabric of the month, so you can see it's a pale blue with like a hint of green in a couple of areas. It was framed by Keepsakes Framing, which will eventually be releasing this as a freebie for everybody. In fact, as soon as I stop this video, I'm packing her up and the extra charts and sending them to Witchell. I only held on to her long enough to make this video so I could show her. So hopefully in the next month or two she'll be available to everybody. And I think that's it. I am going to try to make another video near the first of the month with just my fabric of the month. If you would like to see or order the fabric of the month, As You Wish will be on the website probably in June, maybe the beginning of May, but I'm thinking probably June. My fabric of the month next month, Indigo, is going to be on is going to be like a lavender with some splashes of red. Or it might be red with splashes of lavender. I haven't played with it yet. I've got the colors down. I just haven't got the technique down for how and the proportions of color. But I will do a video just about my fabric of the month in a couple of weeks. For those who are in my fabric of the month, after I hang up on this, I'm going to go back to my serger and start serging again. That is really the most time-consuming part of fabric of the month, and I need to get that done. I got all the cutting done except for one or two Adas, so that doesn't take near as long as cutting, you know, the Belfast and the opal cachels and all of that stuff down. So I think that's it. Ta-ta for now.